Judge Jeanine Piero from Fox News says you shouldn't be worried about your 401k right now.
And he's delivering. And you know what? I don't really care about my 401k today.
Does she have a 401k? Do millionaires need 401ks? I think maybe at least multi-millionaire, like tens or hundreds of millions of dollars in her account. I'm sure of it. I don't think you're allowed to have a 401k or a Roth IRA or something if you make over a certain amount.
You know what? Not that I can afford it, not that it isn't important, not that I'm not at a point in my life when I should be worried about my 401k, because I am.
Oh my God, dude. Just so transparently, disgustingly nonsense.
But this is what I believe. I believe in this man. And I believe that what we're seeing now with his bringing in $1 trillion in business and manufacturing.
He's what? You think he's bringing in $1 trillion in business and manufacturing? What are you smoking? Who told you this?
Companies moving back to the United States.
Who the f told you this? Where'd you hear this? Companies moving back to the U.S.? First time hearing of it. Anyway, she's apparently not worried about her 401k, and that means you shouldn't be worried about yours either. By the way, the algorithm is hitting me hard right now, completely ignoring me. So I'd appreciate if you watch to the end of the video. Having increased watch time as a percentage and a raw number is what pushes the video further. Also check out my books, owenmorgan.com. All right, back to the video. She goes on to talk about the stock market uncertainty. Listen to this one.
And you know, the uncertainty in the stock market, it isn't necessarily a negative.
No, it is a negative. Uncertainty is a negative thing. Always in the stock market, pretty much. I don't know of a single other situation which it's not a negative. Stock market going down in certain circumstances, I suppose you could view that as a positive depending on the situation. Uncertainty is bad. It creates reluctance. People don't want to invest their money if something is uncertain. You want predictability in the stock market. And Donald Trump, you know, whatever he does, has produced complete uncertainty. Nobody knows what is going to happen next, and nobody feels comfortable investing right now because they don't know if we're at the bottom of a dip that's about to go back up. They don't know if the dip is going to fall even more. They don't know. That's the problem.
It can be an indication that things are going to work out. It's just that they're uncertain right now.
How could it possibly be an indication that things are going to work out?
And you got a president who's swinging for the fences. You got a...
He's swinging for the fences, you see. Anyway, she had Elon Musk on I think it was the same segment, to talk about all of this. Listen to this. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, leading up to this, the important part of this is Elon Musk was pushing for this Wisconsin Supreme Court race, basically. He was literally bribing people to vote for the opposition in this whole thing. He's bribing people to vote against the Democrat, vote for his Republican pick. He gave two people $1 million each, giant $1 million checks on stage for coming to his rally, for voting for the dude that he wanted. Crawford was the Democrat, for voting against Crawford. That's super illegal, obviously, but he doesn't seem to care. Anyway, he said that it's a really, really important race, and lucky for us, we won it. Crawford won, despite all of that that Elon Musk was doing. Despite literally trying to buy the election. That gives me hope. That shows me that democracy, like the framework of democracy, is still in place. It's still functioning, technically, like as it's supposed to. That means that if Trump is voted out, if he loses his election, I don't think that, like, the country would not settle for him staying there. All of the people in positions of power that would be responsible for ushering him out would usher him out. And for better or worse, Donald Trump is only as strong as the people who support him. He is physically too weak to fend off a kitten, let alone a Secret Service agent or an FBI agent or whatever. If they want Trump gone, if the infrastructure wants Trump gone because he lost an election, then he'll be gone. Anyway, the point that I'm getting to here is that Elon Musk lost his race, but he's about to describe why it was so important in the first place.
The reason tonight's elections are so important is that the judge race will decide whether the Wisconsin districts get redrawn. They're kind of trying to gerrymander Wisconsin to.
No, Wisconsin was already gerrymandered to by the Republicans. So winning this Supreme Court race would set up a situation where a Republican Supreme Court in Wisconsin would approve the gerrymandered districts. It was so egregious that they were sued over their gerrymandering lines, over the lines they drew around districts. They cut out so many people. They turned like all the districts red when, by splitting them up and drawing these ridiculous squiggly lines around everything. When if they were just kept as they were, people wouldn't have lost their voice. So the case went to the Supreme Court, and this election is what decided how that was going to play out. So now, presumably, the Wisconsin Supreme Court's going to throw out the gerrymandered trash. The districts are going to be redrawn more fairly, and Wisconsin they won't be disenfranchised by all the gerrymandering. Good news. Democracy is still functioning technically.
Removed 2 Republican seats. And as you know,
they removed 2 Republican seats. No, Republicans drew the lines, right? Am I wrong here? Hold on. Let me just verify this. Hold on. Wait, no, it was the Democrats redistricting. The decision not to hear the congressional challenge comes after the court in December ordered new legislative maps. Let me pull it up and we'll look. This is on Politico. The liberal-controlled Wisconsin Supreme Court on Friday, this is March 1st when this article came out, rejected a Democratic lawsuit that sought to throw out the battleground state's congressional maps, marking a victory for Republicans who argued against the court taking up the case. I see. The decision leaves the state's current congressional district boundaries in place for the November election. I see. So it was gerrymandered to by Republicans, and Democrats tried to redraw the district to be more fair, and the Supreme Court wasn't going to hear it, basically. But since Crawford won, now they will hear the case, and it will be more fair. The Republican-controlled legislature, out of fear that the court would order maps even more unfavorable to Republicans, passed ones drawn by Democratic Governor Tony Evers. He signed those into law on February 19th and urged the court to take up the congressional map challenge. So anyway, that's the situation. Now that Democrats have won that seat, people will not be disenfranchised by Republican gerrymandering.
The House is currently Republican by a razor-thin margin, which means that losing this judge race has a good chance of causing Republicans to lose control of the House. If you lose control of the House, there will be nonstop impeachment hearings. There will be nonstop
impeachment hearings.
And
So, you're very articulate there, Elon. Anyway, the point is that this judge winning this position means that we will almost certainly take back the other branch of government in 2027. Is that when it is? 2027? We will almost certainly take it back. That is really, really good news.
And subpoenas, and they're gonna do everything possible to stop the agenda that the American people voted for when they voted for President Trump with.
Well, I mean, the American people are voting again. So this is like when Mitch McConnell, this is like when that one justice died, Antonin Scalia, like a year before Obama's term was up. It was very clearly Obama's pick. And Mitch McConnell said, let the voters decide. They already decided. They already voted on this when Obama was elected. What do you mean, let the voters decide? Are you kidding with this?
Popular vote and the House and the Senate in November, they're going to do everything possible to stop the president's agenda.
Right. So if people vote again and choose a Democratic House and Senate, then the people have decided that they don't want this stupid fucking agenda that Donald Trump is shoving down people's throats. It's not even an agenda. It's just pure unadulterated corruption. Anyway, yeah, just disgusting, dude. Like, I don't know what is wrong with this guy. I don't know what's wrong with Jeanine Piero. She was a judge. Unironically, really, she was a judge. How is she so empty? that she is willing to flagrantly lie and twist around like that. Like that is vile. That is vile. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments. Just disgusting, honestly. I'm so glad that we won that seat.